What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the November 29, 2021 edition of Raw Talk. A few quick notes here before we get started with the review. I'm well aware that they have put up 5 new episodes of Ruthless Aggression on Peacock, as well as the new Broken Skull Sessions with Jeff Hardy. A lot of content now after months and weeks of no content, new WWE content on Peacock. They've released a whole bunch. So I have yet to even watch the episodes, let alone review them. They will be up within the next week or so. I'm hoping to watch them in the next couple of days when I get some free time. The month of November was fucking wild as shit, busy as shit. December, although the holidays are approaching, looks to be a little less chaotic, which is good. So I'm hoping to watch them in the next week, and the reviews should be up here on Network and Chill in the next week. There's a lot more interviews still to be released as well, and other stuff. My interview with Xavier Woods, King Woods, that is, went up this morning on Bleacher Report and here on the channel in audio form. So, again, a lot more interviews here to come on the channel in addition to the review. So, just be patient. They will be up momentarily. Hopefully as soon as next week at the latest. But that's the initial expectation. Time will tell. But back to Raw Talk. We had Scott Stanford filling in for Matt Camp this week. They didn't say why he wasn't there. They just said he was off. Filling in alongside Jackie Redmond to break down Monday's Raw that honestly I thought was a very good show. By recent Raw standards, I thought Monday's show was actually quite great. From the returns of Edge and The Miz, the main event of Big E versus Kevin Owens, a good 10-woman tag team match, among other stuff, a United States Championship match, a Raw Tag Team title match, a great contract signing, among other matches and segments. I thought it was a good show. I enjoyed the 3 hours more than I normally do. So, to kick off the show, they replayed the main event that saw Kevin Owens beat Big E by disqualification, thus earning the opportunity to enter himself into the main event at day 1 for the WWE Championship between Big E and Seth Rollins. We hear from Booker T. So, last week we had JBL on as the extra analyst on Talking Smack. It was Peter Rosenberg for some reason. Peter Rosenberg was just on the show a couple of months ago, so he was not exactly a fresh face on Talking Smack. But Raw Talk, bringing out the legends. They had JBL last week and Booker T this week. His insight isn't exactly... Honestly, I thought JBL's insight was a little bit better, but they're bringing on the talking heads from the pre-show panels, and I would not be shocked if Jerry Lawler was next. So, keep an eye out for Jerry Lawler Skyping in or Zooming in one of these weeks to Monday Night, not Monday Night Raw, but rather Raw Talk to give his pointless analysis. But it was still nice having Booker T there giving his insight, although not very insightful. It was what it was to kind of add to the monotony of the show that is usually, Matt Camp and Jackie Redmond. But he talks about how he likes Kevin Owens' strategy and kind of outsmarting Rollins and pissing Rollins off to the point where Rollins interfered and helped him win the match, thus entering him into the WWE title match at day 1. And he says that no one has an advantage in that triple threat match. And he says that Big E, although he has taken it to another level as WWE champion, without outright acknowledging that he wasn't really too high on Big E being goofy in the first place about a year ago when Big E first broke off on his own, he says that he still has to take it to another level, one more level, to be the WWE champion that, he has the potential of being and being more serious and whatever. So, pretty much what I would expect Booker T to say here on a show like this. But he can't be thinking about the New Day, he says. He's got to be thinking about the future, which I would argue he already has. I mean, the New Day hasn't been around in a while. I know he reunited with Xavier Woods on SmackDown about a week or two ago, but beyond that, though, we haven't really seen Big E alongside the rest of the New Day in a while, so not exactly sure what he's talking about. They recap Damian Priest versus Apollo Crews for the United States Championship, with Priest beating Crews to retain the title. Booker T says that everyone has a dark side, alluding to Damian Priest snapping towards the end of the match there and that helping him pick up the victory. But he needs to walk in with that same attitude, Booker T says. And he called the bow and arrow stuff corny. I mean, listen, I love Booker T. We interviewed him here on the channel a couple of weeks ago. I enjoy the guy, but that was really fucking stupid. I mean, maybe I know that's his own opinion, but the bow and arrow stuff, the Archer of Infamy stuff he was doing previously, I thought was fucking cool. And I thought it was what got him over in the first place, or at least helped him get over. So I wasn't a big fan of that line from Booker here. But he advises him to take care of business, and that's how he's going to remain United States champion. We hear from Damian Priest backstage at Raw, I think with Sarah Schreiber, who says that Damian says that he closed Apollo Crews' mouth for him after all the talking he's been doing lately, and everyone from the Raw roster is welcome to challenge him, and his name will live forever. So a pretty basic, generic, typical promo from Damian Priest. Booker calls Apollo Crews very talented, but he feels that with all the interference from Commander Aziz and all the other shit he's been doing lately, he feels it's a step back for Apollo, and he's got to kind of refocus in order to get back on the right track on the Raw roster. They then replay the Edge and Miz talking segment. They don't really talk about it at all. They just kind of replay the segment when they come back from commercial. They also then replay the Team Liv versus Team Bex match. That's how Team Liv pick up the victory for her team. That's how Liv Morgan pick up the win for her team, that is. We hear from Liv Morgan backstage at Raw, and she says that she feels with her performance she proved Becky Lynch wrong, that she is worthy, she is a championship contender, and she's not taking next week's opportunity against Becky for the Raw Women's Championship lightly. And Becky won't be taking her lightly after next week when she vows to become the new Raw Women's Champion. Back to the studio, Booker makes a Captain Morgan joke about Liv. I don't drink alcohol, so that was lost on me until I looked it up. But he calls Becky a great champion, and that in order for Liv to be successful, she has to believe in herself. They then recap the RK Bro versus Dirty Dogs Raw Tag Team title clash, and Jackie Redmond calls RK Bro a dominant team. Scott Stanford says they were one of his all-time favorite tag teams, which seems a bit premature, but they are quite great. Booker says in order for RK Bro to remain champions, they got to stay on the same page. That's what's worked well for them so far, and they got to ensure there's no dissension or tension moving forward. Orton, he says, has gotten softer as he's gotten older. Booker T's words, not mine. And he calls Riddle very talented. So not exactly sure where he was going with the Orton getting softer line, but I guess he's gotten softer, that therefore he works better with others. I guess, whatever. They then recap the Mysterios, beating the Hurt Business's Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin in tag team action. We hear backstage from the Mysterios with Kevin Patrick, and Ray tells Kevin that, Lashley isn't the first monster he has faced in his career, and the odds are always stacked against the Mysterios, whether it's himself or Dominic or both or whatever. But he gets right back up anytime he's knocked down. Dominic wants to carry on the legacy of the Mysterios, and no one will disrespect the Mysterio name again. And then to close out the episode, Booker T talks about the connection that Ray and Dominic have currently, at least until their breakup inevitably happens. And he says their chemistry is like nobody else's. So, that was Raw Talk in a nutshell. Booker T's analysis, again, not very insightful, but it was nice having an additional voice here on the show that wasn't Jackie Redmond or Matt Camp, who kind of spit out the typical WWE takes, kind of a ho-hum show. But, again, Booker T isn't really adding a lot either, but it's nice to have a different voice here every week. So if the idea, and I thought it was a post-pay-per-view thing, but it might be just every week going forward, if the idea is to welcome in different people each week here to the show, Matt Camp and Booker probably would have the same takes. So I would rather hear from Booker personally, but that's just me. They had JBL last week, Peter Rosenberg on Talking Smack. This week was Booker T on Raw Talk, and we'll see what they have in store for Talking Smack on Saturday. Thank you guys for checking out this review. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Like I said, a lot of content coming here to the channel, specifically in the next week, from interviews to reviews of Ruthless Aggression and Broken Skull Sessions, Q&A videos, #AskGSM every single Wednesday, WrestleRant radio excerpts every single Thursday. We got Hawkeye reviews now and Eternals review coming soon at some point, live reaction videos from my time at Survivor Series and SmackDown, and so much more. So if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that bell button to be notified every time a new video goes up. Have an awesome one, guys. Enjoy your month of December coming up tomorrow. I'm Graham GSM Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.